Hi everyone and welcome to this video of titration. Now you should be very familiar by now with the term neutralisation. Our two players in that reaction are acids and bases, and when these two chemicals react with one another they neutralise. Now let's take a closer look at that word titration and what that means. Now it's something that you wouldn't have heard before, but it's something that if you do chemistry later on in high school and in university, it's going to be a procedure that you're going to have to become familiar with. So it's a good time to introduce it if we're looking in neutralisation. And what a titration does, it adds a liquid to another liquid in small fractions. And when we look at the equipment called the burette, it's going to become a little bit easier to understand. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the equipment before we start the demonstration. Okay, so let's have a look at the chemicals that we're going to be using. You're going to need 1 molar sodium hydroxide. It's got that OH group at the end, so you know that it is a base. And obviously, hydrochloric acid is our acid. Now, during your titration, you're going to need these pieces of equipment, which are called burettes. Now, when I explain what the titration process is, it shows you that you're going to add small fractions of a liquid to another liquid. And we open and close this way to add small amounts of liquid. You're also going to need a conical flask with a magnetic flick in it so you can stirs it for you. And over here is our pH scale. Now what we hope that we see is that we start down at an acid with a low pH and we're going to slowly titrate or add small amounts of the liquid, which is our base. And we should slowly see the colour change as it neutralises. And then as we add more of the base, it's going to go past neutral and become more basic. And then we're going to reverse by adding acid to go back down again. So firstly, turn on your metal flick so that it is spinning, so that means you don't have to stir it yourself. Now we are starting down at an acid, so I'm going to get my burette with the base, and I'm going to add it very, very slowly, fraction at a time. And there we go. So we've gone from from an acid of about 3 or 4, past that to 6. And now we've gone past 7 to a pH of about 8. Now we're at about a 9. And now up at about 10. And finishing at 11. So that shows you that in a neutralisation reaction, if you don't have equal parts acid and base, it's going to become one or the other. Now that we're up at the base end of the pH scale, we are going to add our acid. Being very careful. And there we go. Back to an 8. To a 6. And back to a 3. And there we go. So that pretty much wraps up neutralisation. Let's just quickly review what we need to know. You need to know that neutralisation is the mixing of an acid and a base to become neutral. And we showed in this demonstration that when you add an acid to a base, it slowly goes up the pH scale. And if you keep adding a base, it's going to become basic. But if you meet right in the middle, it's going to be neutral. Thanks a lot for sticking around to the end of the video. Look out for the next lesson, and I'll see you then.